So my name is Karen Newton. I'm an online entrepreneur and a strategic investor. And today I want to go through and show you about strategic investing. And I'm just going to pause this because thank you. So yes, we're recording now, and let's just have a look at the world at the moment is in a mess. Okay, we have high inflation, high interest rates, high energy bills, high cost of food, high fuel costs, high government borrowing. There's a pension crisis, a banking crisis, an energy crisis, a housing crisis, an income crisis. So it's no wonder that people are feeling really down in the dumps. However, I want to show you that when we see all these highs and these crises, that the world is actually full of exciting possibilities. So who am I? My name is Karen Newton. I have a background in taxes, banking and entrepreneurship. I studied commercial law, quality management and business management at university. I borrowed £300 on a credit card and turned it into 10 million in 4 years. I'm an online entrepreneur and strategic investor, and I'm a 3 times #1 international best-selling author. And I am retired, semi-retired, living in a small fishing village in Spain, and I'm living my dream lifestyle. Now, my story starts here in New Zealand, and this building, brand new the day I started, it was 3 firsts. My first day, it was the bank's first day in this building, because prior to this, they had been operating from a caravan. And it was also the first day that an automatic teller machine went in to a bank in New Zealand. When I started, it was known as Eastern and Central Savings Bank. It went on to become a trust bank. And I worked here for many years. I started on the ground floor, and as I grew my banking knowledge, as I got promotions, I moved up through all these different levels within the bank. And then one day, on my way home from work, in my little yellow Mini, I was involved in a car crash. And that car crash took me 2 years to learn to walk again. And I found myself in a very difficult situation because banking is very high pressure. I was not in a position, I couldn't cope with moving up different levels within stress levels within the banking, and I had to give up my job. But prior to that, just a couple of weeks before my accident, the government changed the rules on what the NHS paid for rehabilitation in New Zealand. And I found that I was only allowed a certain amount of treatment, and I used that within the first 2 weeks of my accident. So I had to pay for my rehabilitation, I had to give my job up, and I had no income. Today, my life is totally different. This is my husband and daughter, and I get to spend a lot of time with them. My daughter's fiance there, just poking his head into the picture. I live in this beautiful sunny place in Spain. I have a second home, a holiday home here in the French Alps. I drive the car of my dreams, plus I like to support charities. I am particularly fond of rescue animals. I have always had rescue dogs, and so I support the rescue centres as much as I can. So I want you to imagine what it would be like for you If you had freedom of time, you could spend as much time with your family and friends as you choose. You had no more stress around paying bills. You were able to go out with family to a restaurant of choice, and you could give the kids treats. And I mean, not a bag of sweets here, but you could send them on holidays. You can help them with home upgrades, or you could take a holiday anywhere you choose without worrying about the costs. So how does that make you feel? So here's what I'm going to cover today. I'm going to talk about strategic investing. I'm going to talk about investment cycles, and then I'm going to show you how I made 10 million in 4 years. So strategic investing. I've put a disclaimer in here because my results are not typical. Results will vary from person to person. You may not get the same results, or you may do better than me. Each person's results depend on their efforts, their understanding, and the time they put into learning and applying what they learn. When we talk about investing, most people automatically think of trading, and there is a big difference between being a trader and being an investor. Traders follow trends. They will look at a market that is moving upwards or downwards, and they need a trend to be able to make money. Investors are contrarian. So whatever the market's doing, we go opposite to it. As a trader, you do short-term trades. Those short-term trades could be a minute, 5 minutes, it could be 5 months. As an investor, we acquire assets long-term, and I have assets that I've held for over 20 years. Trading is for individuals. If you turn around to me and you say, Karen, is this something I should look at? You've missed the trade. As an investor, you operate both as an individual plus you're building teams, and the teams are really important for you. Traders operate from two mindsets. There's the mindset of fear and one of greed. There's nothing wrong with those because we all operate from them. But when you're trading, you need to understand which mindset you operate from. So traders spend a lot of money working with psychologists to understand how they work in a certain situation. Because if you operate from fear and you use a greed strategy, you lose money, or vice versa. Investors are patient. They have to let the market come to them. They know they can't control the market. So, hey, they look at the investment they're going to make, and then they go and lie on the beach, enjoy the sun, do whatever until the market comes to them. As a trader, as someone who is learning to trade, 90% of traders will lose 90% of their money in the first 90 days. Investors, on the other hand, make money going into the market and out of the market. As a trader, if you're good at what you do and you're an exceptional trader, you will make 6 out of 10 trades. And then you hope that the ones you've lost, the ones you achieve, cover the ones that you've lost and give you a profit as well. Investors create the assets for traders to make money. So if you have a look at companies like Jeff Bezos, Virgin, Elon Musk, if they didn't build the companies, there would be nothing for the traders to trade on. So traders need investors to create those assets. So trading is not investing. However, good traders can make a lot of money very quickly. But generally, investors are 100 times wealthier than traders. So you will always hear me talking from an investor point of view. Now, there are 5 investment categories. We have business, digital, which is your shares and your cryptocurrencies, property, and we've talked today about property and different property strategies, we have commodities such as gold and silver. And if you were in Dublin in 2023, you will know that Sharon Lechter said to me, Karen, please put intellectual property down as a fifth investment category. Now, I don't actually teach intellectual property, but I have included that in there because, yes, it is a fifth investment category. So investment cycles. Investment cycles identify what the market is doing. And when you understand how the cycles work, they will identify the best time to buy an asset, an investment, and they will identify the best time to sell. So when we look at investment cycles, we've got this circle here, and at the top is the high. So an investment will come up and then it'll dip, and then it bottoms out and it will start to come up again. Now, a typical 95% of investors or traders will operate from a hot tip, and they know Joe down the street who knows Sam down the street who works with somebody, and it's an absolute given that you're going to make money from this. The problem is that they are coming in here at the high of this investment, and it's shortly going to go down. And the thing is that when it goes down, they go into denial. And the reason they go into denial is because they were so confident that this person was giving them a hot tip and they are going to make money. But we know that everything goes up and everything comes down. And when it continues going down, they go into panic sell mode. And they've got to get rid of it because they don't want to lose any more money. And so they're in a situation where they have bought high and they are selling low. And then as this investment starts to recover, they're in fear mode. So they're not buying when they should be buying because they're too scared. They don't want to lose money anymore. And so what happens is they miss out on all this growth. And as the investment gets towards the top again, that hot tip comes in and they think, oh yeah, I've watched this go up and up and up, I've got to get into it again. And so they get in this cycle of buying high and selling low. Investors are looking for investments which have started to go down, and they're starting to identify opportunities. And when those opportunities are at low prices, when we see the panic selling going on, investors get in and they buy. They hold on to that investment when it is growing. And when the hot tip investors come in, they are selling. There must always be someone selling for someone to buy. And so investors are buying low and selling high. So what is strategic investing? It is identifying what is happening in the markets. It's looking at the history of how did the markets previously react, because nothing is new. Everything has happened before. We might think in the 2000s, hey, we've had a pandemic, we've had a bad recession when we look at what happened in 2008. But when you look at the 1900s, it was exactly the same. There was a pandemic, there was a recession, probably one of the worst in history. When you look at the 1800s, there was a pandemic, there was a recession. So there is nothing new. Everything is repeating. And what we can learn from it as investors is how did governments act and how did the markets react the previous time that this happened. And when we understand that, it lets us identify what the risks are likely to be, because there's a probability that the market will react in exactly the same way, or the government will react in the same way. So we're able to identify from history what were the opportunities that happened previously. We can look at those are the opportunities that are likely to happen now. We understand the risks, and that means that we can use the best strategy for the economic climate. So strategic investing lets us look as if we have a crystal ball and we can see what's coming in the future. So if I look at business, what is happening in business at the moment? Businesses are struggling with high overheads. They have low sales because money is squeezed and consumers are not able to get out and spend the way they used to. The only option to businesses now is to reduce the operating costs, and they do that through closing stores, laying off staff, and that means unemployment will start going up. But we won't see the unemployment figures coming through because there's a lag in the time that the data comes through to when we actually see that. So what are the opportunities that are out there? Well, first of all, being online. Every business needs to be online because there is a huge audience out there. We have 8 billion people in the world and 5.5 billion of them are online potential customers. If you have a network marketing business, then it is a prime time to be growing that network, because when unemployment is rising, a lot of people move into network marketing because they see the opportunity of starting their own business because they can't get jobs. So it's prime time for network marketers to grow their teams. Fast food outlets also become very popular because when people have got money, they like to eat at restaurants. But when money gets squeezed and they haven't got money to spend, they still want to eat out, but they start going to a lower price restaurant, to the lower price, and eventually they get into the fast food outlets. And fish and chip shops actually boom during difficult times. Mergers and acquisitions are key here because this is when there are businesses that are available. They can be sold very cheaply or purchased very cheaply. And so it's a prime time to grow your own business through mergers and acquisitions. So for instance, if you are looking to add an extension onto your business, there may be another business that's in difficulty and you can get that business and grow your own. The X here indicates where at the moment, this is where I think business is. It's starting to come into this area where we're going to be seeing the opportunities to buy. So I have a case study here, which is a lady by the name of Jane. She's a Reiki practitioner. Obviously, I'm changing names here for clients. She came to me during the pandemic and her business was closed. Her business model was high risk because with the pandemic, her type of business had to be shut, and it was one of the last types of businesses to open when people were recovering from the pandemic. The situation is Jane wanted to be a stay-at-home mum. Her hubby didn't make enough money to support them, so she has her own Reiki business, but she also suffers with depression, and she wanted her business was start, stop, start, stop. She was looking for ways to generate money so that she had more stable income coming in. So what the strategy was here, we identified that Jane had a loyal customer base. Research looked at the strategies for her, and we decided that a network marketing business was the best for her, and essential oils. And what happened was she started to train her customers to make their own essential oils, build up their own massage oils, etc. and they became distributors for her business. Jane also did have a couple of properties, and so I introduced Jane to lease options so she could acquire more properties. We set up her investments so that she had cash to buy the properties with no mortgage required at the end of the lease term. And this is just a testimonial from Marilyn. So Marilyn, I helped Marilyn when she wanted to set up a business where she had yurts, and she wanted to do holiday lets using yurts, but she didn't have any money to actually buy the land or to invest. So what we did was we looked at what was happening in the property market at the time, saw that there was growth opportunities with garages, and Marilyn started to buy garages. She bought them low, she sold them when the price went up. That gave her the money. She is now in West Wales with her yurt business. And Marilyn says, Karen has caused a paradigm shift in my own thinking about business, and now a whole new future lies before me. Karen changes the lives of those ready to take action. She makes wealth accessible to everyone. If we look at residential property, current situation is that we have had this boom period for investors. Rents are high, but mortgages have also been high, which is why we've had this boom with the rents going up. But homeowners have also been affected. They have high mortgage repayments. And when there's high mortgage repayments, that tends to put the repossessions up. However, history shows us that the government has stepped in whenever there's been a recession, and they have banned the banks from doing repossessions for owner-occupied properties. And in fact, the UK government stepped in May last year and issued that ban on the repossessions. When those repossessions occur, the shift moves to investors, and that means that it becomes extremely high risk for investors. So we are actually moving into that high risk period for residential property investors who have got mortgages. So what are the opportunities there? Well, the one is to reduce the mortgages. We have what is called a loan to value, and I'll explain loan to value and explain why it's important to reduce those mortgages when I show you the case study. You can sell profits, and a lot of the top investors in the UK and Irish markets, they have been selling their properties for about 18 months and taking profit and getting the cash out, ready for price drops that are likely to occur. You can acquire property using options. So there are different types of options. You heard Julianne talk about 62 different ways of being involved in property. Options form lots of different parts of those strategies, and we can acquire property through options, which means that we're not exposed to the mortgage market. You can do joint venture deals, and a lot of people can come together, they can put cash together, and then they can purchase properties using cash. Or you can diversify into other property markets, because although something is coming down, there is always something that is going up. And that's why we end up with this continuous circle, this cycle. So we have lots of opportunities there within the property market. And finally, you can go and look at property to buy at auction. Okay, if you've got the cash for that. So, strategic investing property case study. Mike, a property investor. Mike came to me in 2008. There had been a drop in property values, and he was in severe exposure with buy-to-let mortgages because of this loan to value clause. Now, every single mortgage in the UK and in Northern Ireland, I'm not sure about Ireland, but I do know Northern Ireland, have a clause which is called a loan to value clause. And what that means is that if you buy a property that is valued at 100,000 and you get a mortgage that is valued at 75,000, you have a 75% loan to value. If the value of that property drops, then you need to repay that mortgage and bring it back within the 75%. If you are unable to repay, bring that value of the mortgage down, then that puts you in breach of a clause. And when the banks move towards investors, they are looking for any clause that they can find to get mortgages off their properties, off their books. And so they will invoke this loan to value to repossess properties. And I have seen time and time again that this clause has been invoked. People have been made bankrupt and it's not been their fault. It has been a recession that is coming. For Mike, he lost most of his property portfolio through the loan to value clause on the mortgage contracts. His properties were repossessed and they were sold at discount prices. He still owed money and he had lenders chasing him for cash. The situation now is that Mike has rebuilt his property portfolio using options. We were able to set up investments for him so that he can pay cash for the properties at the end of the option term. This is Steve. Steve was, he had a property. He needed to move because he had a broken marriage. He was living with another lady. He's now engaged to her. They both had children. Steve's house wasn't big enough and he needed to move it. But because the price of the properties had come down, he found himself in negative equity with the bank chasing him. Now, because he was owner occupied, they couldn't repossess the property. So what we did with Steve was we set up and we sold his house with lease options. We helped him get rid of debt that he had, and he was then able to get a property with his fiance. So Steve wrote, "Amazing, I learned things I'll never forget that helped me through the pandemic, sell my house with lease options, get rid of 25K in debt. Grateful as always." So quickly, how I made 10 million in 4 years. So I came to the UK in 2000 when the UK was in a recession, the late 1990s. It had been in a recession. It was still in recession at the early 2000s. And I came over because my mum had died. I came over for a funeral. I lost 6 members of my family in 8 months, and I decided that I needed to, one, have a job to pay for my expenses while I was in the UK, and 2, I saw opportunities here, so I decided I wanted to stay a bit longer. So I had a job which was on minimum wage. And the first thing that I did was I set up, although I was working, I set up 2 businesses. They were catalogue businesses, Clean Easy and Avon. So I was able to put my catalogues out at night when I finished work and pick up the catalogues that I'd put out the night before with the orders. The money that I was making from those catalogues, I invested into the share market. Now the share market was at record lows. You had companies like Cora Steel, which were at just 2 pence a share. I sold them as the market recovered for £4.56 each. I got companies like Rolls-Royce, 9p, I sold those at £1.50. Tallow oil, I bought at 69 pence, I sold them at £12. There were lots of companies like that where I was able to buy those shares at very low prices and sell them as the share market was recovering. The money that I made went towards property. We had already started property because we started buying, we negotiated zero deposit property deals, got money off the bank and did our first property deal. I did mention earlier today that we wanted a specific property, and it was my very first property deal. I'd never looked at it. My husband actually did the deal, and the property was on the market at 55,000. He went in and said, "Will you give us a gifted deposit?" And they said no. So he watched the property. It dropped in value to 50,000. Then it dropped to 45,000. Then it dropped down to 39,000. Each time there was a price drop, he went in and said, "Can you give me a gifted deposit?" and was turned down. When it was listed at 39,000, it advertised a gifted deposit. So we went in and we got that property. The property needed a little bit of work. It was good roof, 4 walls that were good. We did a bit of renovation work inside. It was really cosmetic. And that property, we knew the price in the street was going at 65,000. So we remortgaged the property, got another mortgage, paid off the first mortgage we had, and the money that we made from that, we then went to auction together with the money that we were making from the share market, and we started buying properties very low priced at auction, renovating them, remortgaging them, and putting them out as rentals. And I discovered last year that there was a strategy called BRRR. For us, it was just buy, renovate, get another mortgage, and move on to the next project. The other thing I did was I started buying gold and silver, and gold and silver was very low. And we were buying silver around about $8 an ounce and gold around $400 an ounce. And we sold that at 1862. I sold, that's 1,862 I sold gold, and silver I was sold at $40. So as you can see, all the way along, because I understood strategic investing, I was able to get in, buy low, and sell as it went high. So I looked at the opportunities that existed. I bought when it was low. I looked at the growth opportunities, waited for the growth to come through, and then I sold when other people were coming into the market. When I talk about buying low, I had a job. I was made redundant 3 times. Twice I was taken back on straight away with the people who bought the company out. The 3rd time, I actually went and bought that company myself. And I gave myself a job that allowed me to get mortgages and do my property deals. And that company that I bought for £2,000, and I was able to pay myself, even though I was on minimum wage, I was still able to pay myself £10,000 a year out of that business, because that was what I needed to be able to get my mortgages. Okay, so I looked at opportunities. When the opportunities came, I bought. And that 2000 was instrumental in me building a multi-million-pound property portfolio. So what is the formula for wealth? It's building a business, investing into digital assets, investing into property, and investing into commodities. I now operate 3 membership options. The first one is the online entrepreneur. The second one is the 0 to Millionaire membership. And the third one is the mastermind membership. The online membership, entrepreneur membership, what that does is it teaches you how to build online businesses. and it will take you, well, you have a live training session each month. It's for 2 hours. You learn how to create your websites. It's in any niche, so it works with any niche. You learn Google's EAT strategy so that when you're creating content, that content ranks high. Most of my websites, I run 8 websites, and those websites rank in the top 10. Every single one of those websites, and that's because I use these strategies. SEO, most people have heard of SEO, which is search engine optimization, but that is becoming old news. Everything is moving now to SGE or GEO. So SGE is search generative experience or generative experience optimization. This SGE takes into account what is happening with AI now, because AI is dominating the searches, and this is how we make sure that AI gets our websites to the top. You'll learn about social media marketing, learn how to monetize your website. You get my free weekly online entrepreneur newsletter. You get community support, free ebooks, and discount to upgrade to other memberships. I charge £9.97 a month for the online entrepreneur membership. Zero to Millionaire membership. You get everything that is in the online entrepreneur membership. You get 3 live training sessions with me each month, because you'll get the online entrepreneur session, you get the Zero to Millionaire session, and I do a market news session. I teach you how to create multiple income streams, and that includes monthly dividend income shares, property investing using options, investing in gold and silver, how to use the compound effect to accelerate things, and how to use leverage, because leverage is really the ultimate key to building wealth. I teach you about velocity banking, teach you about cryptocurrency, peer-to-peer lending, and you get access to joint ventures. You also get my investment tools. The Zero to Millionaire membership is at $49.97 monthly. Finally, there's the KNI Mastermind membership. You get everything that is in the online entrepreneur membership, and you get everything that is in the Zero to Millionaire membership. Plus you learn strategic investing strategies. You get 4 live coaching sessions per month with me. You get to learn how to grow businesses through mergers and acquisitions, and I teach you growth strategies for investing in shares. I teach cryptocurrency strategies, and I make money every single day off cryptocurrency. I teach you how I do that, and I teach you property investing strategies and commodity investing. You get to do joint venture opportunities with me, which is through business and property. And I know both of you are in the share investing joint ventures. I create speaking opportunities for members of the mastermind in events such as this. They also, mastermind members, get to co-author a book with me. So if you've got a niche that you are interested in, you can co-author a book. I don't do multi-co-author books. It's a one-on-one, so there's just 2 people, you and me, who will co-author this book. I do bootcamp retreats and workshops, and they're exclusive for mastermind members. And you get support to make sure you get to that millionaire status or billionaire, whichever it is you're wanting to work towards. And I charge $197 a month for the mastermind membership. So 3 different levels of memberships. If you just want to learn how to build a business, you can do that from $9.97. If you want to learn the investment tools plus build a business, you get that for $49.97. And if you want all the extra items that I offer with strategic investing, getting you in front of people and helping you to build that millionaire status that you want, then that is $197 per month. Now, there is a QR code here which will take you through to the mastermind, but if you want to check out the website, it's courses.karennewtoninternational.com, and if you do /memberships, it will just take you to the membership options. And if you go in to sign up, this is what a sign up page will look like, and it will automatically default to pay in full for a month. You get a discounted amount, or you can just select the monthly option. So it's up to you to choose what sort of lifestyle you want, what sort of wealth you want, what income you want. And it is a matter of choice. You heard Donna talk today about making the choice, and it's that choice that determines what sort of lifestyle that you want. I choose to live here in Spain. You can see in this picture, if you can see my cursor, this is where I live, right on the seafront. I choose to have this place in France to go skiing, and my apartment is in this little block here, second apartment in, stunning views out over Mont Blanc. I choose to drive a Ferrari. That is my choice, and I choose to have a boat. I haven't got the boat yet. I have set myself certain goals that I have to achieve, and the boat is my reward for that. I choose this as my lifestyle. What do you choose? Tony Thomas is a certified and independent financial advisor, and for 4 consecutive years, the Financial Times has voted him in the top, well, not the Financial Times, it's actually customers of the Financial Times have voted him in the top 10 IFAs in the UK. And Tony has actually been a client, and Tony says Karen is a great coach on how to build wealth through her mastermind groups. Karen shows you a number of different strategies, starting with very little money, on how to build wealth, how to build income and capital in a friendly, supportive way. I have no hesitation in recommending Karen if you want to learn how to build wealth. So you choose. As I said, if you want to look at those memberships and decide if any of them are suitable for you, you just put in courses.karennewtoninternational.com memberships, and you'll get those 3 membership options come up. Thank you. Any questions?
Thanks, Karen. That was brilliant. I don't think of any. I have any questions really now. I think you've told it all. So yeah.
Joy, any questions?
No, not at the moment. Thought-provoking as always. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I know I was signed up to one of your things, and I kind of lost the plot. I had so many bits in my diary. It's like I don't know where I am now.
And that's one of the things, and that's why I've moved everything onto a membership, because we can repeat things. You can go back in. When I do the live sessions and I was just selling a course, you only got the access when I was doing the course.
Yeah.
By doing the membership, as long as you're a member, you can come in anytime. You can come in on any training. If you want to pause, you can pause, and then you can come back in, and you can just pick up what you want when you want. And we also have separate communities built into each of those memberships so that everybody's in there supporting everybody. And it makes it easier then to not get overwhelmed with everything and to be able to just plod along and do what you want to do, but get the support as you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.